We are through with the dress rehearsals, scrimmages, and we play a game that counts on Friday. And I know that everybody in our locker room is excited. Hopefully we will play well and do the things that we practiced on, and I'll repeat myself the whole season, hopefully. I like this squad. They are willing listeners, and they want to be a good team. And we've emphasized team and what you can do to help a teammate be better. And as good as any group we've had, this ball club has understood that and is trying to do that. Almost at times to a fault. Josh, at times we've had to say, Josh, you've got to be a little bit more selfish when you touch the ball.
Coach, could we just take a brief time out? We had a audio thing that dropped out on us, and we're not getting all your words. So if you could hang on just for a second.
Now it is.
You guys
I guarantee you don't want too many of them anyway, so it's all right.
Thank you.
I'm not going to repeat myself, but you can catch up. So I think that the unselfishness is on display every time you watch us perform. If you come to watch a practice, you would say, boy, they move the ball. They don't hunt shots. And I think sometimes when you say to a player that you know is good and has a hard time being stopped, be a little more aggressive with your thought process when you touch the ball. And that's what we've told Josh a little bit. You've got to, when you get that ball in the low post, get 2 feet in the paint and attack before you can get double teamed. So I'd rather be able to do it that way than have a guy that every time he touches it, he does nothing but shoot it. So we're very anxious to get started, and I think that our fans have been tremendous in showing how excited they are. And we've got Riverside obviously on Friday, and that starts what will be a gauntlet of some games that everybody will want to see starting on Friday.
Steve,
anything?
Well, your scrimmage that you had with San Marcos, what were you able to define out of that? I know you were giving everybody, different assignments and things, looking at stuff. What have you come out with, and what are you expecting to, put on the floor Riverside-wise this week that would be different?
I don't know how different we'll be. We played 11 guys against San Marcos. I have 11 guys that I trust, that I think can play. I've never, ever played over 8.5 at the most. So eventually we'll settle into probably an 8-man rotation. That 9th guy would be problematic, how many minutes he would get. But right now, tomorrow or Friday, we'll probably play 11 guys again. Whether they will get as many minutes, all 11 had double-digit minutes, 10 or more minutes from everybody. Nobody had more than, I believe, 26. So it will change a little bit, but I don't think we'll have a person that averages 35 minutes a game this year, like we've had in the past. So, but I want Josh should be one of those guys that leads us in a lot of categories. One of them will probably be minutes played.
Is that kind of music to your ears there, Josh?
Yes, it is.
Well, talk about what you came away with from San Marcos and getting ready for Riverside.
I mean, that was a good team we played. I felt like that was a good debut for us. We have a lot of things we have to work on, but as far as the team goes, I'm excited to continue to keep working.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about what you've seen Josh now in a live game, and you've seen him a lot in practice. Obviously, you saw tape for last year, but what is it about him that is really impressing you and makes you, praise him so highly?
Josh has a very, very, very high IQ on how to play. You combine that with the athleticism, and I think what separates the really good players is their ability to compete at a very high level regardless of what just happened. So Josh will play, and if you watch him play and you pop in, you won't know whether he's just made 5 in a row or missed 5 in a row. He's going to give you the same type of all-out effort at both ends of the floor. And it doesn't happen very often. Most people, they feed off their offense. If their offense is going well, you know you're going to get a good solid effort. The really good ones, and Josh is the guy that you know you're going to get an honest day's work and then some from him every time he steps out on the floor. And I respect that, and I have great appreciation for that. And when your better players do that, it sets the tone for everyone. He's a non-complainer. You can get on him, and he will nod. He will go, yes, sir. Even if he agrees or disagrees, he'll try to do what you want him to, what you ask him to do.
Coach, you lost a significant amount of your offense from last season. How do you see it sort of changing and developing this year? You know, do you see one guy maybe being that go-to scorer, or is it going to be, you know, more of a collective effort?
We will have a lot of guys that are capable of leading us in a lot of ways, including scoring. The returnees that are most reliable, because we've seen them do it in the past, you'd start with Xavier Thames and then go to J.J. O'Brien. I've watched enough of Josh, both on tape before he came here and in practice once he's been here, to know that he's a guy that will demand touches because he can make things happen. With the advent of some of the new emphasis on rules, I think Josh will be a hard guard. At the elbow, off the bounce, taking the ball to the basket, and he's a very reliable free throw shooter. So I think you can start with those three, and then we've got a bevy of young guys, starting with the 2 freshmen and Matt Shrigley, who's a redshirt freshman. So you'll see maybe not the leading scorer in the conference, but you'll see 2 or 3 guys that on any one time could put up a lot of points.
What about Skylar Spencer? You know, last year defense was pretty strong for him, or a strong aspect of his game. Do you expect him to, you know, have a larger role offensively this year? Is that something he worked on in the offseason?
Skylar started the first exhibition game. He's going to start on Friday. He still continues to be an inside, back to the basket, inside 5 feet scorer. So it limits you a little bit in terms of how you're going to score. You're going to get the ball back to the basket and going to try to make a move and score. He needs to become a more consistent, reliable free throw shooter. He was 1 for 5 in the exhibition game. And most people, and we've talked about this, will say if he's in late in the game, when he touches the ball, foul him. So if he wants to be in late in the game, he's got to, along with the other guys, you have to be able to step to the line and make a free throw. He's much improved, even though he was 1 for 5 in the exhibition game. So hopefully that will happen. He's stronger, he's got better stamina, and he's better, and he should be because he's a sophomore as opposed to a freshman. He's more confident and comfortable in what's expected and what he knows he can do. He's a defender, shot blocker, probably as good as there will be in our league. And that will be one of the strengths that he will and we will rely on.
Question for Josh. You've been at North Carolina State, you've been at Tulane, now you're here. What's the biggest difference you've noticed in maybe the practices, but also in Coach Fisher's coaching style from other places that you've been?
I feel like at Tulane and NC State that practices were intense, but since I've been at San Diego State, I feel like defensively it's very intense. It's the most intense practice I've ever seen as far as defense goes. So.
Coach, what do you think of the starting 5 again in the exhibition? Do you kind of plan to stick with those guys throughout at least the first part of the season?
I've always been a guy that said if you could have a consistent starting group, you're better served. But I've never been wedded to that, saying you have to do that. I expect guys to perform and be on edge, but like at any line of work, it's performance driven. So if you perform, you'll get to play. And if you're coming in as the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th man and you perform better than the guys that have been getting more minutes, then eventually you're going to get more minutes. And eventually you could move into the starting lineup. But if you look at the MO of teams that I've had, we've had a core, we've had a starting group, and usually that group has been there unless injury or illness or something along that line got in the way.